Well, good Sunday evening to you. Chris Hare, the world champion crypto cowboy. I hope you had a great day. Mine was amazing. Went to church, got some Jesus, came home, did some charts, threw out a few videos for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed them. But now we're here for our nightly update. Bitcoin and Ethereum, what's going on? Are we breaking out? Are we breaking down? Well, we're going to get into the charts and I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. But we're going to start off with the crypto fear and greed index. Same thing we do every night. This measures market sentiment, tells me what the market is doing. Right now we're in fear. We're at a 36. Yesterday we're 34. Last week we're at a 27. So things are starting to move up just a little bit. I think people are getting a little more optimistic as we're finding a floor and getting around to some little bit of upside. We've had quite a bit this afternoon and this evening. Kind of expected that. Dropped some signals in the crypto school this morning that things were going up, and they've paid out pretty well. But what I'll tell you is every time we drop into fear, I sound like a broken record. We go through this every single night, but every time we go into fear, it's a good time to buy. Usually when we go into fear, we launch out relatively soon. When we went to extreme fear, it was a great time to buy, and we just almost hit it here, and now we're working our way out. So if you would have bought at the peak of fear and sat on what you bought, you'd be in profit today. That's the way I look at it. Best times to buy are when we're in fear. We're going to go to an altcoin season index because it's relevant to Ethereum that we'll go over tonight. You can see we're at a 30. Yesterday we were at I believe that was a 28. It says we're at a 30, but I'm pretty sure we were at a 28. Last week we're at 26. So we're moving towards that altcoin season again, which seems pretty promising. Like I said, alts have kind of took a run past day or so, and people are paying attention and people are starting to realize that maybe this run's for real and we're not going to get the crap beat out of us. But we'll get into that in the video. I've got some red flags for you. I'm not confident that this is the run, but I think it's a little bit of a relief rally, but we'll break down that into the chart. Going to a Bitcoin liquidation heat map. This is on the weekly. You can see everything above price action is a short trade. Everything below price action is a long trade, and the market makers just go back and forth trying to pull liquidity. They're looking for your stop losses. They're looking for your liquidation points, and that's all they care about. So you can see we're moving up here. There's not a lot of liquidity left above us, probably around 115.9 on up to 117, 118,000. Cumulatively, in short liquidations, we've got $566 million. But if you go to the downside, all the way down to 105,000, 2.41 billion, guys. That's a lot of liquidations. That's a big imbalance. There's a huge pocket here right around 112. Another one around 114, and then you can see we've got them all the way down 108, 106. There is a lot of liquidations to the downside. So when we get into the chart, it's going to break down and it's going to kind of explain my concerns here. It's a nice pump. We were due a pump, and I'm glad we're getting it. But what you can see is that we're working up. We've worked up above the 50 moving average. We've worked up above the 50 smoothed moving average. So what that is those yellow and white lines that are on the chart. Those are 50 moving averages. The yellow is a simple. The white is a smooth. That takes a combination of the simple and the exponential and puts a fluid line on the chart. The red line is the 200 smooth moving average. And what these are, the 50s take 50 of these candles, put fluid lines on the chart. The 200 does the same thing, but it uses 200 candles. And we've broken above all of those. We've broken above the daily 50. So we're bullish. I took longs. That's what you're supposed to do when you get above that daily 50 is take longs. My concern is this. You can see there's two bullish fair value gaps or two bearish fair value gaps right up around 116 to 121. I really feel like that we may get rejected right there. And that would be where I would expect, because if you took a line and drew from the top of this channel that we've been in to the bottom, drug it over here to where you break out, it comes up about halfway. And I tell you guys that these things do one of two things. They either go halfway or they go the full length. The full length would put us up in the 4-hour extensions. I'm not ruling them out here, because what could happen is we come up, we retest this 618786, come back down to retest this 50 smooth moving average. We haven't done that on a daily move yet. So there's a good possibility we could just come up here, retest, and then work our way up on up to 133, 141,000. My concern, if we do that and we don't come down and test these lower targets, is I'm afraid it shortens the bull run by a considerable amount. So we're going to need to watch this really close. If we just run on through here, I'm going to pull significant profits off of my spot bags. My spot bags, I've been taking profit all the way. Some of those things I've been in for 3 years. And so it makes sense to take profit. I'm completely free money. I've taken all of my initials out. So happy days for me. But now it's time to start pulling profits on these. I did pull a little bit at all-time high all 3 times that we hit it. But I think if we go ahead and break up to 133, 141, I'm probably going to pull a significant amount out. Moving on to the daily chart, I'll go ahead and leave the smart money concepts on just because it paints a really good picture for us of where support and resistance are. You can see we broke out above the 50 smooth moving average. We broke out and kind of had a retest on the 50 simple moving average. So we're headed up to this golden zone, somewhere between 118 to 120,000. Then again, that begs my question: do we just do a retest, come down and retest these moving averages, or even this 382 sitting at about 115.1? And then move on to the upside, or do we reject and grab those lower targets that we've been talking about? I can't rule out that 200 smooth moving average, but getting over the 50 is very bullish, guys. So it's a kind of a wait and see. We're going to be really frosty around here. If we can get into this daily golden zone, kind of consolidate around, let the RSIs and the stochastic RSIs reset, I think we're off to the races. We're headed up to the next target. If we go up here and just flat reject and start heading down, I don't know that I'll think about shorts, but I'll probably close the long trades that I had today and just wait and see what happens at the daily 50. Moving on to the weekly chart, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We did bounce off the 50 moving average, the 50 simple moving average, just like we've talked about in previous videos over the last few nights. You can see in this bull run, every time we've touched it, we have bounced, and we have made a run. So I kind of think that might be happening. So, you know, like I said, the targets are 133 to 142. There is a chance we could run all the way up here to about 150, 160,000, but it's a wait and see. We're just going to have to see what happens. So maybe this is the run for Bitcoin, but time will tell. But we're going to be super frosty. I'll throw out another update tomorrow. If things change during the day, I'll also throw up a short, let you guys see what's going on. Moving on to Ethereum liquidation heat map, same thing. Market makers looking for liquidity. If we go to the top side, we've got about 221 million up to about $4,300. Cumulatively to the bottom side, we're right at 1.5, 1.6 billion, down to about $3,650. You can see there's a bright pocket of liquidity right here, about 41.42. And then we've got to come way down to find it, guys. 39.24, 38.87, and there's just not a lot above us. But these things, market makers will like to kind of pull it down. They may come down and grab this, then work their way up with all the short trades that'll pile in. That's kind of the way they work their magic. But we'll get into the charts. We'll figure that out a little more. We'll start off with an Ethereum 4-hour. All this is a mess, but it works for my thinking, so you're just going to have to ignore it. It's the process that my brain goes through to come up with these targets. But if you look and see, we've like I said, we've broken the 200 smooth moving average. We've broken both of the 50s, and we're headed up. One of two things happen here. We get to the top of this channel, we reject it, we come down and retest these daily 50s in the 4-hour golden zone. The other option is we head on up to this golden zone on the 4-hour. We consolidate in here. We come down and retest this trend line of the bull flag that we've been in, and then we push on up to these extensions. There's a couple of different ways this thing can go here. Our bottom trend sits down here right around $3,700. So we may not. We may just run from here and head on up, you know, $5,300, $5,900. And then we get into the daily charts. It's going to paint you a little better picture of where where those targets are. We have crossed the 50 smooth moving average. And as you guys know, I really like it when things cross that. It gives me some pretty good confluence that things are going in the right direction. So I went ahead and took the longs as we crossed. Didn't really wait on this retest, but I think that we're probably going to get one. We may get it right here at the 50 smooth, the 50 simple moving average, come back down, retest this line, and then work up to the golden zone. Or we may just push on through, get into this golden zone, $4,400 to $4,700, consolidate, work our way up. If we trail back, we're going to look for these lower targets around the 50 moving average. I don't think we do. Like I've said in the past, when we hit the top of these channels and break out and then come right back into them, we usually go to the bottom. Hopefully that's not the case, but there's still a solid case that we've talked about night after night, down here around $3,200, where you've got your 200 smooth moving average, you've got the top of your daily and weekly golden zones, and you've got the bottom of the channel. It's a really good place of confluence for this to bounce. But like I said, we may just go ahead and head out north here and go on up to those extensions. Looking at the weekly charts, kind of painting that picture that might be what's going on. We are headed to the top of that channel. We're at the bottom of the 786 now at about 41.86. So if we can get out of this channel, do everything that we talked about, then definitely our next targets are 59.21 to 71.57. There is a possibility in this run. If we take a hard run, we could get up to $9,000-$10,000. I don't think that's out of the question. I would like to see it come down and retest this, but it looks like it may not, guys. So that's where we're at tonight. That gives you a pretty good rundown on Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think we've got a green week ahead of us. We hadn't seen one of those in about 14 days. So it'll be nice to have some upside. I did do some spot purchases, especially in like exchange tokens. I think they're going to be hot this run. But if you come back to these nightly updates, you're going to kind of get an idea of where Bitcoin's going, and we'll follow it until we get into that alt season. When we start getting in those light blues, alts are just going to do what they want. So that's where I am tonight. But I really appreciate you guys watching. All these charts are posted in the Crypto School. You'll find the link to that in my description. And if you don't mind, like the video, subscribe, tap the bell notification. You'll get updates as soon as I drop a video. And don't forget to leave us a comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm. It helps us reach more people. But like I said, I'm a world champion cowboy, and they don't just hand those world titles out. You have to earn them. And what I've done is I've taken the practice and the strategies that I use to get to a point that I'm competitive enough to be a world champion, and I'm bringing them to the crypto desk to teach you guys how to have those same practice, the same strategy, the same discipline to attack these charts in the same way and treat it like a short round. A lot of these rodeos are 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds, and if you miss, you're out. You've just donated your money and you're headed on home. And I think trading's the same way. If you're not prepared for that trade, you're just donating your money and you're headed on home. And that's what I'm going to keep you guys from doing. I have a strategic way I trade, and I'm trying to relay that in these videos. So I hope you guys understand that. I hope you're picking up. If you don't understand something, don't hesitate to leave me a comment. Come over to the Crypto School. I'm accessible there. You'll find a link to that in my description. You'll also find a link to my X where I post random things throughout the day. And if you need to get set up on a trading platform, I've got a link for BitUnex to get you a sweet deal on your trading. But I'm going to wrap this up. I've said enough already. If anything changes throughout the day, tomorrow I'll do some shorts, kind of update it. But we'll circle around and grab this again tomorrow night and do it all over again. So thanks so much for watching. I am Chris Hare, the Crypto Cowboy. We'll see you down the road.